Hey guys, Doc D Short. I just disassembled this. I was going to try to do some repairs on this Bridgeport number 2. Turned out to be a non-starter, and I'm looking at this adjustment screw, and it's like, it's a super fine thread. And I thought, well, hey, here's a chance to actually do some of that shop math that nobody really likes to do. And so I thought, the way that you check a thread is that you get a thread pitch gauge and you'll actually lay it on in there. My eyesight is not good enough to see that fine thread in a thread pitch gauge. It's 40 pitch. So what that means is it's 40 threads per inch. But before I did that, I actually calculated it, and I came up with an answer that wasn't right, and I'm trying to puzzle through it, and then it finally hit me. So let's kind of walk through this. All right, so what is thread pitch? Thread pitch is in threads per inch, TPI, and what that means is that for an inch, it counts how many threads there are. All right, so what I'm wanting to do is calculate how many threads per inch this is. All right, now I have a little cheat on here, because if I look at the dial graduations on this, can you zoom in on that? Are you able to see? Let me get a little closer. Let me know when you can see it. So here we are. Okay, so you can see that it goes from 0 to 40, and then it keeps on ticking. So there's 50 thousandths of travel in this. All right, and so, well, okay, so that means that one turn of this equals 50 thousandths. All right, so if I do the reciprocal of that, which basically means I take 1 inch, and one turn of this is 50 thousandths, how many turns would it take to make 1 inch? Well, 1 inch divided by 50 thousandths, 0.050, if you do the math, is 20. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's no way in the world that that's 20. I'm going to guess that it's probably 40. And so, I'm scratching my head, I'm thinking about it, and then, what we have to think about is that a boring head itself is kind of like a little mini lathe, right? And so if I move my cutter an inch, all right, on one side, well, it's going to take a total of 2 inches, all right? So this, what that means is that I have to look at this. When I turn this, it's not actually moving that amount. It's actually moving it half, because this is how I track my total cut. So when I rotate this dial, all right, if I move it to 20, it's going to take 10 thousandths off each side. It's going to move this thing 10 thousandths out, and so it's taking 10 thousandths all the way around it, so a total of 20 thousandths. So then if we do this, if we look at that, okay, so I'm not actually moving 50 thousandths, it's actually moving half of that. It's moving 0.025, and if we take 1 inch divided by 0.025, we wind up with 40. And then I actually did get my big boy I've got one of those lights. It's got a magnifying glass in it, and sure enough, yeah, it's a 40 threads per inch on this. All right, so Doc D Short, doing a little bit of shop math, and you always got to use common sense. Like I said, I'm looking at it. When I first tore this apart, I was like, that's a 30 plus, maybe 40 threads per inch, and it turns out I was right. It's actually 40 threads per inch. If I look at that versus this, I don't know what this is. This is probably 18 threads per inch. Can you see the difference? Because I believe the top one is a 5/16 18, and then this is, so just about 2 threads for every one on this one. Okay. So again, you know, like I said, when I did the math and I came out with 20, I thought, oh, I know that can't be right. And then I had to think about it for a few minutes. And again, you know, because we're taking off of one side, well, if we're going into a hole, it's taken off of both sides. So, you know, the actual linear movement is 1/2 of what I'm dialing. All right, Doc D out. Have a great day. Please like and subscribe.